One of the most important concepts to understand in COMOSYS is views. Views are basically like windows looking into a 3D model. If a model represents the infinite 3D space, then a view represents a particular viewing angle for looking at this infinite 3D space. Furthermore, how deep we look and which particular objects we see can also be customized. One of the most important properties of a view is the up-down limits. Using these limits in the z direction, we can limit what the user sees. Up is the limit of the view in the positive z direction, whereas down is limit of the view in the negative z direction. Similarly, the x and y limits may also be specified. Specifying these values as 0 means there is no limit imposed. After creating a view, we can still rotate it by pressing the right mouse button and make it look like any 3D view. But this does not change the original definition of the view. The moment we press this 0 button at the bottom of the view, its original orientation is restored. This is called zeroing the view, and snaps work differently in zeroed views and non-zeroed views. We will talk about them later. In COMOSYS you can create as many views as you want. Every view has its own coordinate system, which is called the view coordinate system. The user looks at the model towards the negative z direction of this coordinate system. So for instance, if the view's coordinate system is the same as the global coordinate system, the user basically looks down on the 3D model from above. Let me open this model from another view. You can see its view coordinates here. If you are unsure of where the coordinate system of the view is, press this V button at the bottom of the view, and it will set the current work plane to the view coordinate system, and you will be able to see where it is. To bring it back to the global coordinate system, press the G button next to the V button. New views are created by selecting one of the many options available. One option is to create views using the Plane Views command. 3 different options are available here. You can either create a view in the XY plane, the XZ plane, or the YZ plane. Whichever option you choose, the coordinate of the third variable needs to be entered. So for instance, if you choose to create an XY view, you will need to enter a Z coordinate. If we enter this Z coordinate as 5000, then a view will be created whose origin is at 0, 0, 5000. And which is aligned with the global XY plane. Using the XZ and YZ options, you can create views in those planes at whatever origin point you want. Once you create a new view, you can decide to give a suitable name. If you want this view to be permanent, check the Save button here. Now, even if you close the view, it will be available for reopening in the tree view on the left. However, if you don't save the view, it will be deleted the moment it is closed. The names of views are written on the top left corner of the views in the title bar. There is a filter option inside the View Property window, but we will discuss it when get to the topic of filters. Filters are extremely important in COMOSYS, since they allow the user to work in uncluttered views. For the moment, just remember that we can decide what we want to see in a view by applying any desirable filter. You can also create views by selecting 2 points on the screen. Let me explain this concept with this simple model here to get a better understanding. COMOSYS creates a view by taking a section along the line defined by these 2 points. The order of picking the points will decide which direction the positive z direction of the new view will face. To make it easier for the user to understand, COMOSYS draws small arrow-like lines at the end of the points to give a preview of which direction the view will look. This command is very useful for taking sections from plan views. However, it is quite general and you can basically create a sectional view in 3D space as well. Let me adjust up and down limits as we already discussed to get a full view of this model in this newly created view. The only constraint is that 2 points chosen need to be in the plane of the view in which they are being chosen. So if you have created a section view from which you are viewing 2 columns and a beam, you can create another section view from within this view, which will be looking at the column from the side. Finally, the most general way of creating views is to create a new view by 3 points. Here you directly specify the origin, x-axis, and y-axis of the view you want on the screen. You can use this option to create inclined views like roof views, etc. A neat trick is to use the grid to create all views along grid lines and grid levels. Simply choose any grid and right-click. In the context-sensitive grid menu, you will see the option of Create Views on Grid. Click it. Immediately COMOSYS will create all the views on the selected grid. These new views will appear in the tree view on the left. It should be noted that these views will be automatically modified if any changes are made to the grid. Similarly, if you don't want these views, select the grid and right-click and use the Delete Created Views under the grid menu to get rid of them. Now I hope you all understood the concepts of creating and modifying views in COMOSYS.